I mean, that says it all right there. Just absolutely spent.
1 month ago, Bradley Beal said, "I know what my decision will be based off of, and that's going to be where I feel like I can win. That's going to be my decision. If I feel like I can win in DC, that's what I'm going to do. And I want people to respect that. You may or may not, but I'm going to work my tail off and I'm going to compete. And I want to make this team better. If it's elsewhere, it's going to be the exact same commitment." Wizards fans are going to be mad, but here we go. I'm just going to say it. When Beal said this, I thought that he was gone. I know to some people there was probably never a doubt that he was returning, but when he said, "I know what my decision will be based off of, and that's going to be where I feel like I can win," I thought he was out. I thought that was his way of saying, "Hey guys, I'm going to a contender." After he basically said that he wants to win, he also went on to say that there's anxiety because I have to make a decision and time is counting down. June 29th, Bradley Beal would opt out of $36.4 million to become a free agent. You normally don't do something like that unless you are coming into more money. $36.4 million, that's a lot of cash. Bradley Beal wouldn't just be coming into more money with his next contract. He'd be coming into $250 million. The more I say that, the tougher it sounds. I'm incredibly happy for Bradley Beal. He worked his tail off and became one of the best scorers in the NBA, and then he got rewarded for it. Averaging 31.3 points isn't easy to do. Bradley Beal averaged this 31.3 points on 48.5% from the field. There are a lot of big men in the game that average a whole lot less than Bradley Beal and don't shoot 48.5% from the field. I have to reiterate that I am incredibly happy for Bradley Beal, but for the Washington Wizards, I'm not sure his contract makes a whole lot of sense. Now look, just hear me out. Bradley Beal got a 5-year, $251 million deal from the Washington Wizards. The contract that he got has a 15% trade kicker in the final year, also a player option, and also a no trade clause. Is it really that wild that I think that this contract doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the Washington Wizards? Bradley Beal has won 3 playoff games in the past 5 years, and that's not really slighting Bradley Beal. That's more so on the Washington Wizards. My point there is, if you haven't been able to win with him so far, what do you expect to change? I'm all for not losing assets, especially being a fan of a small market team myself. But I mean, come on, you also gave this guy a no trade clause. In today's game, no trade clauses are extremely rare. According to Bullets Fever, there have only been 10 no trade clauses in NBA history. LeBron James, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, Dirk Nowitzki, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, John Stockton, David Robinson, and Tim Duncan. Maybe some people will disagree, but to me, all of these players are all-time greats. Guys, I'm sorry, there's just no way that I look at what Rudy Gobert was just traded for. You know what, screw it. It doesn't even have to be Rudy Gobert. There's no way I see what some of these stars in the NBA go for, and I give Bradley Beal a no-trade clause. Now, of course, Beal is a Wizards legend. He's second in points, first in three-pointers, second in most points per game in a season, fourth in assists and steals, and second in 30-point games. Again, he's a Wizards legend, and I understand if that you were ever going to trade him, you were probably going to act in good faith. Even though you always plan to act in good faith, I just feel like a no-trade clause is a little too much power. The Supermax is meant to incentivize talent to stay, and while it has done that, it also has created a ton of contracts that some teams go on to regret. In today's NBA, I want you guys to make a list. You don't even have to make a list. Name some players that you would be comfortable paying $50 million per year to. Now remember, when I'm talking about all of this, I'm speaking from strictly a basketball perspective. Now once Bradley Beal signed his contract, the Wizards president and general manager Tommy Shepard came out and said that Bradley Beal's level of talent, character, and work ethic combined to make him one of the most remarkable players and people I have been privileged to work with over my career in the NBA. He went on to say that we have built this roster to complement his all-around game and couldn't be more excited to have him make the commitment to keep our franchise moving in the right direction. Now, I'll give it to the Washington Wizards. I've been pretty hard on them, but they have made some very decent moves this offseason. I think DeLon Wright and Morris are winning players, as is my guy, Johnny Davis. Now, you guys may have heard me talking about Jalen Williams in yesterday's video about Chet. Well, I feel the exact same way about Johnny Davis as I do about Williams. Watching Johnny Davis hoop for Wisconsin was an absolute pleasure. This guy wanted to win at all costs. Oftentimes, he would be asked to guard the other team's best player, while also being asked to carry a massive offensive load. This guy had one of the highest usage rates in college basketball. But yeah, that didn't stop him from giving 150% every single play. We are talking about a 6'5" guard that averaged 8 rebounds per game. That is pure hunger right there. I bring up his 8 boards per game like he also didn't average 20 points. On offense, I see a lot of shades of CJ and Book from Johnny Davis. I also think he has a lot of room to grow as a playmaker. I just hope that early on he doesn't get buried on the Wizards depth chart for whatever reason. The Wizards really do have some good young talent. Kyle Kuzma averaged 17 and 8.5 last season. He's only 26 years old. Porzingis is also only 26. And I mean, I know Porzingis gets a lot of hate, but I thought he looked pretty good in a Wizards uniform. Then you have Denny, you have Rui, you have Kispert. The list does go on for the Washington Wizards. They have talent, but I'm just not sure how it all fits. Now let's just say for whatever reason, Johnny Davis isn't who I think he is. This year's draft was so good. The Washington Wizards started this past year off pretty hot, but they finished as the 12th seed. Bradley Beal played 40 games for you last season, with his last game coming in January. Once I saw that Bradley Beal might potentially be shut down for the season, I would have pulled an OKC and I would have tanked like no tomorrow. It's like the Washington Wizards are the anti-OKC. For whatever reason, they refuse to get a very high draft pick. 2022, they picked Johnny Davis 10. In 2021, they drafted Corey Kispert 15. In 2020, they drafted Avdia 9. In 2019, they drafted Rui 9. The last time that this team had a top 5 pick was in 2013, where they drafted Otto Porter. Even if the Wizards made the play-in this year, they had to know that they weren't going to make a lot of noise without Bradley Beal. There's always that interesting argument of tanking versus winning games. But I mean, would the Rockets really be any better this year if, say, they ended up with like the 9th pick in this year's draft? And let's just say they draft the wrong guy and miss out on a potential franchise-changing talent like Jabari Smith, which they get to pair with Jalen Green? It's really weird because I'm not somebody that likes continuous tanking. But if I was a fan of a team that had been in mediocrity for a while, hey, maybe getting some top-end talent wouldn't be the worst thing. And I feel bad saying that because I really do like the talent on the Wizards roster, especially Rui and Denny. Wizards fans, let me know what moves you would like to see your team make. Also, let me know what your expectations are for this season. At the end of the day, you did pay Beal a lot of money, but it's hard to really put a price on what he brings to the city. Honestly, guys, if I was Beal, I probably would have did the same thing. Let me know what you guys think about everything. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.